Hello children, today I am here to teach you chapter 17 in your textbook, that's area. In this lesson, we are identifying the units used to measure areas, find the areas of squares and rectangles using formulae, find areas of composite plane figures and solve problems related to area. So what is area? So you have already know about that. When you take any closed figure, the space occupied by this figure is called the area. So you can get any shape, but it should be a closed figure. We are not talking about indefinite shapes. So we talk about definite shapes like squares, rectangles in this lesson. So area of a rectangle and area of a square. The extent of a surface is called the area of that surface. Look at this one. All sides are equal. So that's a square. So think about one side is 1 unit. So in this square, the side length is 1 unit. What's the area? We know area is length into length. So you get 1 square unit. 1 unit into 1 unit. 1 square units. So you can write this one as 1 square units. Square units. Or I can write this one as units squared. So we get area of this square. If the length is 1 centimeter, what's the area of the square? So we say 1 into 1 centimeter, 1 square centimeters. So how can we write down 1 square centimeters? 1 cm squared, square centimeters. So when you take a square with length 1 centimeter, the area, the space occupied by that square is 1 square centimeters. Now we'll take, if it's length 1 meter, that's a big square. So what's the area then? If it's 1 meter length, then we say the area is 1 meter times 1 meter. 1 square meters. So what are the units of area? Square centimeter. So we can write cm squared. Square meter, m squared. And if it's a big area, square kilometer, km squared. So these are the units we are using for area. If it's a small one, square centimeters. A bigger than that, square meters. And very big one, we can say square kilometers. Identify suitable measurements units for the following areas. Handkerchief. What do you think? What's the suitable measurement? It's a small one. So we can say the area is square centimeters. Book. Book also a small one. You can measure with centimeters. So the area can be square centimeters. What about a door? Door is a little bit bigger than when you take a book. So you need meters then. So when you measure lengths with meters, what's the area? You get square meters. A sari. So that's also a long one. So you can measure with meters. So square meters. So the area of the Colombo city. So you can't measure with meters, then you have to use square kilometers. Look at this rectangle. So we need to find out the area of this rectangle. So look at the shaded rectangle here. How many squares are there along length? So length means the longer side. When you take this rectangle, this is the length and this is the breadth. Sometimes we call width. So along this length, how many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squares are there along length. How many squares are there along breadth? 1, 2, 3. 3 squares along breadth. So if you want to find out the area of this rectangle, you can count how many squares are there. So length of the rectangle and breadth of the rectangle, when you multiply, you get total number of squares. So altogether we'll count how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 is the total number of squares. So you can get total number of squares using squares along length into squares along breadth. So 4 times 3. So when you count, we got 12. How we get this 12? We can say length into breadth. So 4 times 3, you get 12. 12 squares are there. So if a rectangle with length L and the breadth is B, how can we find out the area of the rectangle? Length into B, L into B. So L is the length, B is the breadth and A is the area. So you can find out the area of the rectangle using this method. Now look at this diagram. Number of squares along length and number of squares along breadth all are equal. So if you take the shaded square, how many are there along length? 1, 2, 3, 4 squares along length. How many squares along the other length? 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you count total number of squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 squares are there altogether. So how you get 16? You can multiply length with length. So 4 times 4, you get 16. So if the square length is L, how we find out the area? Area is equal to length into length. That means you can write here, instead of L times L, L squared. We take the length and square it. So L is the length and A is the area of the square. Now look at this diagram and we want to find out the area of the shaded part. If we take 1 square is 1 square centimeter area, by counting number of squares you can find the area. So we'll try to find out how many squares are there. So I'll put numbers for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, you get half of the square and here half of the square. So, you can add it and say one full square. So, this is 11, this is 12, these two. And this half and this half, you can make one square. So, that's 13. This is 13. Then, look at these two. When you put this part here, you can get another square. So, 13. So, this becomes 14. So, what's the area of the shaded part here? 14 squares. Here, if we take 1 centimeter square is one area, we can say this is 14 square centimeters is the shaded area. Take a look at this diagram and see how many squares are there. Here also we can take number of squares. So 1 square represent 1 square centimeter. We'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And these two, we can say 10. And these two, 11. Half and half. And then these two we can take as 12. So how many squares are there? 12 squares. So what's the area? We can say 12 square centimeters is the area of the shaded part. Look at this diagram. Count how many squares are there. We'll count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are full squares. And here, these two you can make 1. So 10 and this is 10. Then these two, another 1 square. 11 and this is 11. So how many squares are there? 11 squares. So what's the area? 11 square centimeters. Find the area of the following figures. Now you know how to find out the area. Area of a rectangle is length into breadth. So 12 is the length, 7 is the breadth. So what's the area? 12 times 7. So what's 12 times 7? 7 times 2, 14. 1 remaining. 7 times 1, 7 plus 1, 8. Square centimeters is the area. Take a look at this rectangle. Length is 20. Breadth is 8. So what's the area? Length into breadth. Length is 20. And this is 8. 8 times 20, 160 square centimeters. Another rectangle. So what's the length here? 11. Breadth is 7. So what's the area? Length into breadth, 11 times 7. You get 77 square centimeters. Find the area of the following squares. Length is 8. Then what we do? If you want to find out the area, you multiply length into length. So we'll take length into length. 8 into 8. 8 times 8 is 64. This is square centimeters. Look at this one. What's the side length? 4.2. So you need to multiply decimals here. So we'll take length into length. 4.2 into 4.2. So how we multiply decimals? Ignore the decimal point. Just multiply 42 times 42 and then think about how many decimal places you have to keep. So we'll multiply 42 times 42, 40 and 2. 4 times 2, 8, 4 times 4, 16. And 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 4, 8. You get 4, 16, 7, 1. 1,764. That's not the final answer. Look at the decimal places. One place and one place. So you have to keep altogether 2 places. Then this is square centimeters. 17.64 square centimeters. Fill in the blanks. You have given length, breadth and area of the rectangle. So you need to just multiply 7 times 3, 21 square centimeters. 8 times 6, 48 square centimeters. Now this is the other way around. You have given the area and breadth. So what you do, you divide and you can find out the length. 55 divided by 5, 11 centimeters is the length. 84 divided by 12. What's 84 divided by 12? 7. So this becomes 7. 120 divided by 12. You get 10 centimeters. 150 divided by 10. You get 15 centimeters. So that's how we find out length, breadth or area. Now look at this question. Fill in the blanks. So length and area of the square. So 7 is the length. So how you find out the area? L squared. 7 into 7. 7 into 7 is 49 square centimeters. Now look at this one. Area is 144. How you get 144? 12 times 12. So the length is 12 centimeters. Look at this one. Length is 11. So how you find out the area? 11 times 11. 11 times 11 is 121 square centimeters. And this one, the area is given 400. So how you get 400? 20 times 20. So the length becomes 20 centimeters. Find the area of shaded part. So you need to find out the area of this part. So how can we do that? So if we can take the area of the full rectangle, big rectangle, and minus the area of this square, you get the area of the shaded part. So what's the area of the rectangle? Length is 14, breadth is 12. This is in square centimeters. So what's 14 times 12? Multiply 10 and 2. Multiply by 1 and multiply by 2. You get 168. So 168 square centimeters is the area of the rectangle. So what's the area of the square? So length is 6 centimeters. So you can multiply 6 times 6. That's also in centimeters. So the area is square centimeters. 6 times 6 becomes 36. Then what you do? You subtract the two areas to get the shaded area. So we'll subtract 168 minus 36. 168 minus 36, you get 132 square centimeters is the area of the shaded part. Look at this one. You get two rectangles. So, first find the area of the bigger rectangle and subtract the area of the smaller one. Area of the larger rectangle is 16 is the length, breadth is 10. This is in square centimeters. 16 times 10 is 160. And what's the area of the smaller rectangle? 12 times 6. That's length and breadth. So what's 12 times 6? 72 square centimeters. Then area of the shaded part, you have to subtract. So 160 is the larger one and subtract the smaller one. Now we'll subtract. It's easy to subtract when you write in a column. So subtract 72 from 160, you get 8 and here becomes 8. 88 square centimeters is the shaded area. Now we'll look at how we can find out the area of composite plane figures. So what is composite means? Composite plane figures means combining two or more shapes together. So here combining rectangles, you get this shape. So a composite figure is created combining two or more rectangles or squares. So here we are only discussing about squares and rectangles in this lesson. So you will get combination of squares and rectangles. So there are several ways to find out this area. So how can we find out this area? So you can take first this area and this area and then add it. Or one can choose this small area and the bigger one. That's another method. If you can't see all, some can take smaller ones, 1, 2, 3 and then add it. So any method is okay as long as you get the same answer. So we'll see both ways how to calculate the area. So here we'll take these two rectangles first. ABGH. This one. ABGH first. Find the area of this. And then we can find the area of the next one. GEDC is this one. And then add it together. That's how we can find out area of the composite figure. So you find out this area and you find out this area. So how can we find out the bigger area, the blue color one? So we'll do it first, the blue color one. Area of ABGF. So what's the length there? So bigger one is the length. 8 here and 4 here. So what's the total here? 8 plus 4, 12. So 12 centimeters is the area of the length of the bigger rectangle. So 12. What's the breadth of that? So this part, 6. So 12 times 6 is the area. So what's that? 6 times 2, 12, 1 remaining. 6 times 1, 6 plus 1, 7. 72 square centimeters. Now we'll find out the area of this one, GEDC. the pink color one. So what's the area? What's the length there? 10. 10 is the length. What's the width or breadth? 4. So 10 times 4, 40 square centimeters. Now, how can we find out the total area? You can add it together. So 72 plus 40. So what's the value? 2 and 11. So here you get 112 square centimeters is the area. Now we'll take the other way and see whether you get the same answer, 112 square centimeters. Now I'm taking other way around. I'll take AFEH. AFEH. This area, and BCDH. BCDH is the other area. So I'll take BCDH. This one. So we'll see. I want this area and this area. So now we'll find out what's the area of AFEH. 8 is the length, breadth is 6. 8 times 6. 8 times 6, 48 square centimeters. BCDH. BCDH, what's the length here? 10 plus 6, 16 is given. So length is 16 and breadth is 4. What's 16 times 4? 4 times 6, 24. 2 remaining. 4 times 1, 4 plus 2, 6. Now what's the total area of the composite figure? You have to add 48 and 64. So you get 12 and 1 remaining and 11. So you get the same answer, 112 square centimeters. So we get the same answer by using both methods. Find the shaded area. How can we find the shaded area? So here you can assume that this is the big one area and you can subtract this rectangle. So larger area, what's the length? You have to find the length. 4, 4, 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4, you get 12. So length is 12 and breadth is 10. So the area is 12 times 10, 120 square centimeters. Area of the smaller rectangle, length is 6, breadth is 4. 6 times 4, 24 square centimeters. And what's the shaded part? You can subtract 120 minus 24. You can subtract and write down the answer. 96. 96 square centimeters is the shaded area. Look at this one. Find the area of the given figure. How can we find out area? So one can say, okay, I'll divide this into 3 rectangles. That's possible. Or I can assuming this is the full big rectangle and subtract the two areas. So I can do that. So we'll do it like that. Area of the larger rectangle. What's the length? This is 3, this is 5, this is 3. 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 3, 11. So that's the breadth. So length is 12, breadth is 11. So do you know how to multiply by 11? That's an easy way. So you take 1 and 2 separately and we add these two. 1 plus 2, you get 3. So 132. You can check that. 132 square centimeters is the area of the bigger rectangle. So what's the area of the unshaded part? That means total area of these two. Is this equal? Just check. 5 and what's the length here? 5. All these lengths 5 given. That's a square. Here it says 5, 5, 5. That's a square actually. This is also 5, 5, 5. So what's the unshaded part? You can find out area of one part and multiply by 2 because same squares are there. So what's the area? 5 times 5. That's one area. Multiply by 2 because you get 2 unshaded squares. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 2, 50 square centimeters. That's the unshaded part. So how can we find out the shaded part? So you can subtract 132 minus 50. So you get 2 and 8. So you get 82 square centimeters is the area of the shaded part. Look at this question. A rectangular shaped room is length 5.9 meters and breadth is 3.8 meters. How many square ceiling sheets with side length 1 meter needed to cover the room? So you need to find out how many sheets needed with 1 meter squares. So we can find out how many sheets you need along length. So here this is 5.9. You have to round it. So we'll take 6. When you round it, this is 6 meters. So along this one, how many 1 centimeter squares we need? 6 along length because this is 6. How many sheets needed along breadth? This is 3.8. We can round it to 4. And this should be in meters, not centimeters because this is a room. So we'll take this is meters. And 3.8 when you round it, you get 4. So how many sheets needed along breadth? You need 4 sheets. So 1 centimeter square, you need 4 sheets like that along breadth. So what's the total number of sheets needed? 6 this way and 4 this way. 6 times 4. 24 sheets you need to cover this room. Look at this diagram. Area of vertical rectangle and area of horizontal rectangle. You are asked to find the area of the composite figure. So we'll first take area of the vertical rectangle. Which one is vertical? This one. I'll take this one. So this is the vertical one. I'll put a color there. This color. So that's the vertical one. Area of the horizontal means the other one. This part. This area. So we'll find out area of the vertical one first. So what's the length there? Length is 8. Breadth is 4. So what's the area of the vertical rectangle? 8 into 4. That's 32 square centimeters. Horizontal rectangle. What's the length? This is 7 and this is 4. Altogether 7 plus 4, 11 centimeters. So length is 11 and breadth is 4. So what's the area? 44 square centimeters. So what's the total area? So total area, we need to add it together. So 32 plus 44 square centimeters is the total area. So 4 plus 2, 6, 6. 4 plus 2, 6. 4 plus 3, 7. 76 square centimeters is the area of this composite figure. The area of a rectangle with length 25 centimeter and breadth 16 centimeter is equal to the area of a square. Find the perimeter of that square. So first we need to find out the area of the rectangle. 25 is the length. 16 is the breadth. Multiply 25 times 16. That means 10 and 6. Multiply by 1 and multiply by 6. 6 times 5. 30, 6 times 2, 12 plus 3, 15. So when you add it, you get 400 square centimeters. Area of the square. It says area of the square is same as the area of the rectangle. So you get the same thing. So how we find out the length of one side of a square? You find the square root. Square root means how you get 400. So we'll check it out how you get 400. When you divide by this one, you can write without doing that. 400, I can write 4 into 100. 4 is what? 2 times 2. 100 means 10 times 10. Now can we see? Now if I take this one and this one separately, 20 times 20. So I need, square means all sides are equal, length into length. So how you get 400? That's 20 times 20. So the length of one side is 20 centimeters. So here you can write this is equal to 20 times 20. Then what's the perimeter of a square? So you add 4 times one side is 20 centimeters and 4 sides are there. So you multiplied this by 4. So perimeter of this square is 80 centimeters. 4 times 20. A rectangular shaped paper is with length 14 centimeters and breadth 12 centimeters. If a square with perimeter 24 centimeters is removed from this paper, find the area of the remaining paper. So we first find out the area of the rectangle. 14 times 12. This is square centimeters. So what's 14 times 12? Multiply and see. 10 and 2. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 1, 2. 168 square centimeters. Now, the perimeter of the square is 24. So how can you find out length of one side? So you have to divide this by 4. So 24 divide by 4, you get length of one side. So that means 6 centimeter is the length of one side. So what's the area of the square then? Length into length. You get 36 square centimeters. And how we find out the area of the remaining part? Because from this rectangular shape, this square is removed. So you have to subtract the area. So the total area is 168 minus area of the square. So when you subtract, you get 132. What's the unit? Square centimeters. Look at this composite figure. In order to find the area of the figure, fill in the blank. So you are asked to fill in this blank. Length. When you take area A, what's the length there? It says 13 centimeters. What's the breadth of this A area? 3 centimeters here. When you take B, that means this one. What's the length here? 12. What's the breadth there? 3 centimeters. Now, what's the area of A? So we can do this way. What's the area of A? Length into breadth. 13 times 3. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 1, 3. So 39 square centimeters is the area of A. What's the area of B? 12 times 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 1, 3. 36 square centimeters. So what's the total area? Area of A plus area of B. So you just add these two. So you get 39 here and 36. So add it together. 9 plus 6, 15. And 3 and 3, 6 plus 1, 7. 75 square centimeters is the area of the composite figure. Look at this diagram. Divided into 3 shapes, A, B, C. So you can do separately and add it to find out the area. So find the area here using this table. What's the length of A? This part. This is given 7. Breadth of A. That means actually this should be other way around. Length is the longer one. So we can take, diagrams are not in the scale. So 13, you will imagine why this 7 centimeters is bigger than 13 centimeters. So this diagram is not to scale. So we have to take the longer one as the length. 13 centimeter is the longer one. So we'll take this as length. 7 centimeter is the breadth. So what's the area? 13 times 7. 7 times 3, 21. 2 remaining. 7 times 1, 7 plus 2, 9. 91 square centimeters. We'll take B. This side is 4. How we find out this one? This is 3. That's 3. So 4 is the bigger one. We will take as length. 3 is the smaller one. That's breadth. 4 times 3, you get 12. Now we'll take C. That's a square. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. 3 times 3, 9. Now we can add all these areas. A, B, and C. When you add all 3, you get the total area. So we'll add it. 91 plus 12 plus 9. 9 and 1, 10, 12. And 1 remaining. 10 plus 1, 11. So 112 square centimeters is the area of this composite figure. Now we'll look at the exercises in your textbook. Review exercise. Considering the area of a smaller square to be 1 square centimeters. Find the area of each of the figures given below. So we'll count how many squares are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 square centimeters is the area of this figure. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what's the area? 10 square centimeters. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these two, 7. 7 centimeters square. Exercise 17.1. The figure shows how the wall of a school has been divided into square-shaped and rectangular-shaped sections for paintings to be done on them. What is the total surface area allocated for paintings in square meters? So basically we need to find out area of each and every part and find out the total area. So can we do at once? Yes, we can do. This is a rectangle. If we can find out the total length and the breadth of this bigger rectangle, we can find out the area. So if this is 1 meter, this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So what's the length of this rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 meters is the length. What's the breadth of the rectangle? This is 1 meter and half. 1.5 meters. Or 1.5 we can write. 1.5 meters. If we can find out the area of the rectangle, we can find the total surface area. So what's the total surface area? Total area is, length is 6, breadth is 1.5, and you get this one in square meters. Ignore the decimal point, just multiply 6 and 15. 6 times 5, 30. 3 remaining. 6 times 1, 6 plus 3, 9. And now consider the decimal point. 9 square meters is the total area. What is the area of the figure shown here, which is made out of equal size squares and equal size rectangles? So you can find out area of a square and area of a rectangle and see how many squares and how many rectangles are there. Area of a square first. So 1 meter length. So what's the area of a square? 1 into 1 square meter. What's the area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle here, half is there and 1 meter length, 1 into half. Or you can write half or 0.5, 0.5 as a decimal. Now, how many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squares. So, area of squares, that means 1 is 1 square meter. So, we get 4 squares. So, altogether 4 square meters. So, how many rectangles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles. So what's the area of rectangles? Area of rectangles is equal to 1 area is 0.5. We get 6 rectangles. So multiply by 6. So 6 times 5, 30, but you have to keep a decimal place. So 3 square meters. So what's the total? Total area? Add it together. 4 plus 3. You get 7 square meters is the total area of the figure. There's an activity for you. Consider the length of each side of a small square into which each of the shapes given below are divided to be 1 centimeter. Copy and complete the table based on these shapes. So we'll take the first one. This is 3 and 5. 5 is the number of rows. And what's the shape? That's a rectangle. And total number of squares? 3 times 5, 15. So that's basically the area. And area of the rectangle, if you take separately the length and width, you get 3 times 5, 15. Now we'll do the second figure B. Number of squares in a row. 1, 2, 3. How many squares? So number of rows? 1, 2, 3. So what's this shape? All sides are equal. This is a square. So total number of squares, how you do? You multiply 3 and 3. You get 9. So what's the area? 9 square centimeters. And if you take length and length, you get the same thing. 3 times 3 centimeter times 3 centimeter, you get 9 square centimeters. Part C. So what's that? Number of squares in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's the shape? 5 and 5. It's a square again. So what's the total number of squares? When you count total number of squares, you get 5 times 5. That's 25. So what's the area? 1 square is 1 square centimeter. So this is 25 square centimeters. So if you take length into length, you get the same answer. 5 into 5. That's 25 square centimeters. D. So how many squares in a row? 3. How many rows are there? 2. So 3 and 2, different lengths. That's a rectangle. So how will you find out the total number of squares? So 1, 2, 3, 3 times 2. That's 6. So what's the area? 1 square is 1 square centimeters. So that means 6 square centimeters. So if you take length into breadth, you get the area. That's 3 times 2. 6 square centimeters. And the last shape, E. How many squares in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many rows? 3. So these are different. So that's a rectangle. So how many squares are there? 6 times 3. You get 18. So the area is the same. And when you multiply length into breadth, you get the area. That's 18. Example 1. Find the area of the rectangular wall hanging of length 12 and breadth 5. So we can straight away find out the area is equal to 12 times 5. 12 times 5, 60, and the unit is square centimeters. Example 2. The length of a side of a square-shaped car park is 30 meters. Find the area of the park. So this is a square. Area is length into length. 30 into 30. You get 900 square meters. Example 3. The breadth of a rectangular plot of land of area equal to the area of another rectangular plot of land of length 12 meters and breadth 3 meters is 4 meters. Find the length of this plot of land. So read it carefully. The breadth of a rectangular plot of land of area is equal to 4. This area is equal to another area of a rectangular plot with length 12 and breadth 3. So this area is the same. Find the length of this plot of land. So you are asked to find out the length. We'll put L. Now if the areas are equal, so what's the area here? Area is 12 times 3. That's 36 square meters is the area. That's equal to this area. So these two are equal in area. So we can write L into 4 is 36 because length into breadth of this rectangle. So how you find out L? Divide both sides by 4. You get, when you divide, 4 get cancelled out. So length becomes 36 divided by 4, 9 meters. So the length of this plot is 9 meters long. Exercise 17.2. Find the area of each of the rectangular laminas given below. So we'll straight away find out. Length into breadth. 8 times 5, 40 square centimeters. This one is a rectangle. Area is equal to 10 times 4. Both are in centimeters. So 40 square centimeters. This one area is 9 times 7. 63 square centimeters. This one another rectangle, but look at this. One is in centimeter, the other one is in meters. So you have to convert this to centimeters. So 2 into 100. So 200 centimeters. Now we can find out the area. 200 into 50. This is in square centimeters. 1, 2, 3. 5 times 2, 10. So you get 10,000 square centimeters. This is in centimeters, this is in meters. So multiply by 100. 150 centimeters are there. Now we can find out the area. 150 times 75. So we'll multiply separately and write down here. 150 and 75. 70 and 5. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 5, 35. 3 remaining. 7 times 1, 7 plus 3, 10. And multiply by 5. 5 times 5, 25. 2 remaining. 5 times 1, 5 plus 2, 7. Now add it. 11,250 square centimeters. This is meters, meters. Here, okay, both are in meters. You can multiply 12.5 into 8. Without decimal, just multiply. 8 times 5, 40. 4 remaining. 8 times 2, 16 plus 4, 20. 2 remaining. 8 times 1, 8 plus 2, 10. Put 1 decimal place. 100 square meters. Find the area of each of the square laminas given below. How you find out the area? Just multiply length into length. 2 into 2. 4 square centimeters. 9 is the side length. What's the area? 9 into 9. 81 square centimeters. 10 is the side length. So what's the area? 10 into 10. 100 square meters now. This one 4.5. So area is 4.5 into 4.5. So multiply 45 into 45 and put 2 decimal places. So what is 45 times 45? 45 multiplied by 45. 40 and 5. 4 times 5, 20. 4 times 4, 16 plus 2, 18. And 5 times 5, 25. And 5 times 4, 20 plus 2, 22. You get 2025. But you have to keep 2 decimal places. So 20.25 square meters, because the unit is given in meters. Question number 3. The length of a rectangular plot of land is 9 meters and its breadth is 4 meters. Find the area of this plot. So what's the area? Length into breadth. Breadth is 4. 9 times 4, 36 square meters. Draw figures of 2 other plane shapes of the same area and mark the dimensions on the figure. So you need draw figures of 2 other plane shapes of the same area. You can draw a square with side length 6. because 6 times 6 is 36. Or another rectangle, but you need to get 36. What are the measurements you can get? So 6 meter, 6 meter square, you get the same area, or 36, 12 times 3, so 12 meters here and 3 meters there. So when you multiply, you get 36. So either a square or a rectangle. The floor of a classroom takes the shape of a square of side length 10 meters. Find the area of the floor of the classroom. So just multiply length into length. So what's the length? 10 meters. 10 times 10. 100 square meters. Another classroom which has the same area as the above classroom has a rectangular floor. If the breadth of the floor of this classroom is 5, find the length of the floor. So now it's a rectangle. So area of the rectangle is the same. That's 100 square meters. So we can write area is into length into breadth. Area is 100. Length you need to find out. And the breadth is given 5. So how we find out length? Divide both sides by 5. 100 divided by 5. You get 20 meters for the length. Question number 5. The area of a flower bed is 36 square meters. An incomplete table containing the dimensions of several flower beds of the same area is given below. Copy and complete the table. The total area is 36. If it's a rectangle with length 9, this should be, breadth should be 4. 9 times 4, 36. And the perimeter of the flower bed, you have to add all together. So we'll add these two and multiply by 2. 9 plus 4, 13. 13 times 2, 26. All these in meters, so you don't need to write down the units. How you get 36 from 18? Multiply by 2. So this is also a rectangle. So what's the perimeter? 18 plus 2, 20. Multiply by 2, you get 40. 40 meters. So I'll write this one in meters because nothing mentioned here, the units. 36, how you get from 12? 12 times 3. This is also a rectangle. So what's the perimeter? 12 plus 3, 15. 15 times 2, 30 meters. And how you get 36 from 6? 6 times 6. Both the length and the breadth are the same. So this is a square. So what's the perimeter? 4 times 1 length. 24 meters are there. Question number 6. The figure shows a shaded square-shaped lamina of side length 20 centimeters, within which a square-shaped lamina of side length 5 centimeters has been shaded white. Find the area of the region shaded in blue in the figure. So what we can do, find the total area and subtract the white area. So shaded area is equal to, what's the total area? The big one, length is 20, so 20 times 20. And we subtract the area of the smaller one, that's also a square. 5 times 5 is the area. So straight away you can find out. 20 times 20 is 400. 5 times 5, 25. 400 minus 25 is 375 square centimeters is the shaded area. Two rectangular shaped parts of length 7 centimeters and breadth 3.5 centimeters have been shaded in white in the square shaped piece of paper in the figure of the area 616 square centimeters. Find the area of the region shaded in pink. So the total area is given. So you have to subtract the area of the small rectangles in white. So how you find out the areas in white? So we'll find areas in white color. 7 is the length. 3.5 is the breadth. And there are two rectangles like that. You multiply by 2. 3.5 and 3.5. When you multiply by 2, you get 7. 7 times 7, 49. So 49 square centimeters are there. So again, look at this one. 3.5 times 2. That means 7. 7 and 7, 49. Now, what's the shaded area? We know that full area is 616 square centimeters and the two white areas 49. When you subtract these two, you get the shaded part. So subtract now. 7 and here 6 and 5. Check it again. You get 567 square centimeters is the shaded area. Find the area of the shaded region in each of the following figures. So this is 1. So how you find out the shaded? We can do this at once. Shaded area. We'll first find the full area. That means this is a square. So 10 times 10 is the bigger one minus. What's the small one? That's also a square. 4 is the side length. 4 times 4. When you subtract, you get 10 times 10, 100. 4 times 4, 16. 100 minus 16, you get 84 square centimeters is the shaded part. This one. So you have to find out the shaded area. So what you do? Bigger area. So 20 times 10. Length into breadth. And we have to subtract the total areas of the white ones. So we'll put a bracket here. We can do at once. So this is a square. 5 times 5. And we have to add it. What's the area of the rectangle? 12 times 5. You can do it separately if you don't want to do it this one at once. 20 times 10, 200. And we'll first do inside brackets. 5 times 5, 25. 12 times 5, 60. So what's the unshaded one? 5 and 8, 85 square centimeters. So when you subtract, you get the shaded area. 5 and 5, 10. 9 and 1. So 115 square centimeters is the shaded area. Example number 1. Find the area of the figure A, B, C, D, E, F based on the given measurements. So this is a composite figure. You can divide into either this way or this way. So we'll do both ways. So if we divide this figure in this way, how we find out the total area? So method 1, using that method. So area of the first part. What's the area of the first part? Length is 12 and breadth is 8. 12 times 8. 96 square centimeters. What's the area of the second part? This one, 3 here. What's the other part? 15 altogether. When you subtract 12, this becomes 3. 3 and 3. That's 9. That's a square. So when you add these two, you get the total area. So total area 96 plus 9. 105 square centimeters. Now we'll do the other way around. So we'll divide this way. So what's the area of the first part? When you take this rectangle, 15 and 3, you get 45 square centimeters. Area of the second part, 12, and what is this length? This whole thing is 8, this is 3, this becomes 5. 8 minus 3. So 12 times 5. So 12 times 5, 60 square centimeters. So what's the total area? 45 plus 60. 105 square centimeters. So what's the answer we got here? 105. So we got the same answer. Exercise 17.3. Several composite figures that can be separated into rectangles are shown here. Copy the given figures in your exercise book and find the area of each figure. So we'll divide these figures and see. So we can take, which way we can divide? I can divide this way. And this one, I'll divide this way. And here, you have to divide into 3 parts. So I can divide. Which one is easy? 4 and 5. And you can do 3. I'll do this way and this way. 3 rectangles. 3 rectangles like this. Now we'll find out. I'll put 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Here 1, 2. This one, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so area of 1. What's the area? 8 times 2, 16. I'll write down. 8 times 2, that's 16. area 2? This is 3, this is 3. 3 times 3. That's 9. So what's the total area? You can add it. 25 square centimeters is the total area. Now take the second figure. What's the area of the first one? The bigger one is 7 and 1. 7 times 1. That's 7. What's the smaller one? Second part. 1 centimeter width, and this is 5. 1 times 5. So you get 5. When you add it together, you get 12 square centimeters. Next one, into 3 parts. What's the area of the first part? 4 into 2. 8. Second part. What's the total length? 6 plus 4, 10. And what's this height? 5 is the bigger one. 5 minus 2, this becomes 3. So 10 times 3, that's 30. And what's the third area? 2 is the breadth and 4 is the length. 4 times 2, that's 8. Now when you add it, you get the total area. So 8 and 8, 16. 16 plus 30, 46 square centimeters is the total area. So you need to divide the figures into several plain figures and find out the total area. Find the area and the perimeter of the given figure. How we find out the area? I can divide here, here and here. 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. So first find out area of the first part. What's this length? That's 4. It's all equal given. 4 and this small length is 2. 4 times 2. That's 8 square meters. Second area, 2 is the width, and what's the length? 3 meters, 3 meters, 6. 6 plus the small one, 6 plus 2, 8. 8 times 2, 2 is the breadth, 16 square meters. And what's the third area? 4 here, and this is 2. 4 times 2, 8. So what's the total area? 8 and 8, 16. 16 plus 16, 32 square meters. And how we find out the perimeter of this figure? We can just add the outer length. So we'll add it. We'll take, okay, how many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 2. How many 3's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many 4's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4. Now add it together. 4 times 2, 8. 3 times 4, 12. 4 times 4, 16. So when you add it together, this is 20. 20 plus 16. 36 meters is the perimeter. Look at this question. Find the area of figure A and figure B separately. is the area of figure A is equal to the area of figure B? Just find the area and see whether these two are equal. We'll divide into two parts here. Here, 1, 2. Here we have to divide it like this, 1, 2. So find the areas and see whether these are equal. So we'll take the first one, A here and B here. So what's the area of the first part? 6 and 2. 6 times 2. 12. We'll find out the area of the second part. So what's this length? Total is 8. 8 minus 6, this becomes 2. So 4 times 2, that's 8. So the total area is 20 square centimeters. So when you take B, the area of the first part, 8 is the length. And what is this side? So it says this length is equal to this length. So that's 2. 8 times 2, 16. What's the second area? This one. That's 2 centimeter is the side of a square. So 2 times 2, 4. So when you add it, you get 20 square centimeters. Now what can you say about the two areas? Both are equal. So area A is equal to the area of B. Look at this one. Same thing. Now you need to find out the perimeter of figure A and figure B. Separately, is the perimeter of figure A equal to the perimeter of figure B? This one you have to just add the lengths. You have to first find out what is this length. 8 minus 6, that's 2. Now you can find out the perimeter of A. Two, 8, 4, another 2. What is this length? 4 minus 2, that becomes 2. And 6. 8 plus 2, 10. 10 plus 4, 14. 14 plus 2, 16. 16 plus 2, 18. 18 plus 6. 18 plus 6, 24 centimeters. Now we'll take the figure B, perimeter. We have to first find the lengths. Here 2, 2, 2, everything. And this is 8, this is 2, and this is 7. So you can add it. 8. How many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 times 5. And then you get 7 here. And here, it's given 1 centimeter. 8 plus 5 times 2, 10. Plus 7 plus 1, 8. 8 plus 8, 16 plus 10, 26 centimeters. So what can you say about the perimeters? They are not equal. So perimeter of A is not equal to perimeter of B. Look at this diagram. Find the area of the plot of land given in the figure. So you need to divide into several shapes. So how can we divide? I can divide this into this part and this part. 1, 2, 3. We'll find out area separately and add it. Area 1. 3 and 1. 3 times 1. 3. Area 2. What's this length? 8. 8 times this full length is 4 and 1 you have to take away. So this becomes 3. 8 times 3. 24. What's the area 3? 4 and 3. 12. So what's the total area? Add it together. 7 plus 2, 9. 2 plus 1, 3. 39 square meters is the total area of this plot. It is proposed to lay tiles on a rectangular floor of length 6 meters and breadth 4.5 meters. It is required to select a suitable tile from a square tile of side length 30 centimeters and a square tile of side length 40 centimeters. The tiles are to be laid such that the edges of the tiles are parallel to the walls. Write down which tile you will select to avoid any wastage. Explain the reason for your selection. Find the number of tiles that are required based on your selection. So what's the area of the floor? So now when you take the rectangle, 6 meter length and 4.5 meters width is there. So here this is in meters. The tiles are in centimeters. So we'll convert to centimeters first. This is 600 centimeters multiplied by 100. When you multiply by 100, what you get? This is 4.5 multiplied by 100, 450 centimeters. Now if you take 30 by 30 tile, 30 centimeter tile, how many tiles you can lay along this side? So we'll take first 30 centimeter tile and see. Number of tiles along length so 600 divided by 30. So you get 20 tiles you need this way. Along breadth, how many tiles you can fit? 450 over 30. You get 15 tiles. So it fits exactly. So here this way 20 and this is 15 fits exactly. So you are not getting any remainder. Now we'll take the other way around. So when you take second method, If the tile length is 40 centimeter, what happens? How many tiles along length you can fit? Number of tiles along length. The full length is 600. Divide by 40. 15 tiles are there. Number of tiles along breadth. Breadth is 450. Divide by 40. Now what happens? 4 times 1, 4 times 1 and 1 remaining. So that means you have to take 12 tiles and 3/4 of a tile just wasted from that side. So what do you think when you are selecting tiles? Which tile is suitable? We can select 30 centimeter tile is suitable because no wastage is there. So exactly fits along the length and the breadth. So you can say 30 centimeter tile is suitable. As it fits exactly along length and breadth. So we have to select 30 centimeter tile. Find the number of tiles that are required based on your selection. Now we have already done halfway. So we have to find out how many tiles you need. So you can do the second part. So this is first part. Second part, you can say number of tiles needed. So here along length 20 tiles and along breadth 15 tiles. So total number of tiles is 20 times 15. So you need 300 tiles from 30 centimeter length. 300 tiles from 30 centimeter side length tiles. Now we'll see how we can estimate areas. Estimation means you can't give the exact solution, that's a rough value. So example 1, the area of the shaded region in the figure is 6 square centimeters. Estimate the area of the rectangle ABCD. Now we'll see how many tiles are like this. It fits the total area. So we can say 2. So something like this we can. My diagram is not okay, but we can see we can fit 5 strips like that. So all together, now if you can divide this way also, how many all together? How many rectangles you can fit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3, 15. 15 rectangles, small rectangles. So if we can find out area of one rectangle multiplied by 15, you can estimate the total area. So area of a thin strip is given. This is 6. So thin strip means this way. So 6 times That's 18. This way 18. So how many 18s you can fit? So 18 times 5. So this way. So the total area of A, B, C, D is 18 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 this way. So 5 times 8, 40. 5 times 1, 5 plus 4, 9. 90 square centimeters for the full area. Exercise 17.4. PQRS is a rectangle. The area of the shaded region in the figure is 120 square centimeters. Find an approximate value for the area of the rectangular lamina PQRS. So we need to find out how many strips like this you can fit. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 this way. How many this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 this way. So what's the total area? Total area is, you can fit 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 this way, 10 this way. And each area is 120. So you can multiply by 120. And this is in square centimeters. 7 times 12, 84 and 2 zeros. 8,400 square centimeter is the total area. Based on the information given in the figure, find the area of the shaded region. So shaded region you can find using length into breadth. 3 into 2, 6 square centimeters. And estimate the area of the whole figure. How many you can fit this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many you can fit this way? So 2 centimeter length. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 this way. So what's the total number of rectangles you can fit? 5 times 4. And one area is 6. So what's the total area? Total area is 5 times 4 into 6. 5 times 4, 20. 20 times 6, 120 square centimeters. Look at this question. It is required to lay concrete bricks along a straight road of breadth 4 meters to a distance of 100 meters. So this is a straight road, 100 meters and 4 meters. The top surface of a concrete brick is square shaped of side length 40 centimeters. So this is in centimeters. Side length 40 centimeters. Estimate the minimum number of concrete bricks required to pave the whole road. So here this is in meters, this is in centimeters. So we'll convert this to centimeters. You multiply by 100. Here also you have to multiply by 100 to convert to centimeters. Now see how many bricks you need to fit into the length side. Number of bricks along length. This is 100 times 100, that's in centimeters, divide by 40. This is 25 times 10, 250 bricks along length. Number of bricks along breadth. 4 into 100 is the breadth. Divide by 40. You need 10. 10 bricks along breadth. So what's the total number of bricks you need? Total number of bricks is 250 multiplied by 10. You need 2,500 bricks. So we covered all theory related to areas. Square centimeter and square meter are two units used to measure areas. The area of a rectangle of length L units and breadth B units is L into B, LB. Square units and the area of a square of side length A units is A squared. Square units. So in this lesson we discussed areas of squares and rectangles. In future lessons we'll see what are the other shapes that you need to find out the areas.